What happens when fame, friendship, and law collide in the most unexpected way? This is not just another celebrity headline. This is a story that feels larger than life, yet deeply personal. It is a story that has shaken fans and left the entertainment industry in shock. At the heart of it all stand three names that need no introduction: Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni, and Taylor Swift. Blake Lively has always been seen as the actress who carries herself with grace, charm, and elegance. From her days on the beloved series Gossip Girl to her rise as a Hollywood leading lady, Blake has built a career defined by talent, resilience, and a seemingly drama-free reputation. Fans admire her style, her humor, and her dedication to family. Justin Baldoni has been celebrated as an actor, director, and voice of inspiration through projects that champion empathy and humanity. He is best known for his role in Jane the Virgin and for directing heartfelt stories that connect with audiences around the world. Taylor Swift stands in a category of her own. She is not just a singer or songwriter. She is a cultural force, a global icon whose music shapes generations and whose every move is followed by millions. At first glance, these three names would never seem to be tangled in the same storm. Yet life has a way of writing stories that no one can predict. When news broke that Blake Lively had filed a serious lawsuit against Justin Baldoni, the headlines were already enough to shock Hollywood. But then came the twist. Taylor Swift was being drawn into the battle not by choice, but by legal force. Imagine being Taylor in this moment. A friend you love and respect is caught in a painful legal fight. You want to support her, you want to be there. Yet suddenly, you are no longer just a friend offering comfort. You are a name listed in court documents. You are someone who might be required to step into a courtroom to answer questions under oath, with the world watching. This is not a music video or red carpet appearance. This is not a carefully planned public moment. This is raw and it is unpredictable. Fans immediately flooded social media with disbelief. How could Taylor Swift be pulled into a lawsuit that she never started? What role does she really play? And what does this mean for her friendship with Blake? Questions echoed across Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and countless fan forums. The speculation grew louder with each passing hour. Some believed Taylor's testimony could help Blake. Others worried it might damage her reputation. Still others wondered if this was yet another example of how fame can become a prison where even private friendships become public battles. But beyond the hashtags and trending topics lies a human story. At its core, this is about loyalty, about how far a person will go to stand with someone they care for. It is about the cost of fame, when private matters become headlines, and when personal trust becomes legal evidence. And it is about the fragility of relationships under the crushing weight of public scrutiny. The stage is now set. The audience is waiting. The players have been called forward. A courtroom drama is unfolding, and Taylor Swift stands at the edge of it. She did not seek this role, yet it may become one of the defining moments in the intersection of celebrity, friendship, and justice. As we begin this journey together, let us pull back the curtain step by step. We will explore how this lawsuit began, what it really means, why Taylor has been forced into it, and how fans around the world are responding. This is not just about celebrities. It is about human emotion. It is about loyalty, pressure, reputation, and the unpredictable nature of truth in a world where every move is magnified. This is the story of how Taylor Swift was forced into the Blake Lively versus Justin Baldoni legal drama. And it is only the beginning. To understand the weight of this legal drama, we must first understand the lives of the people at the center of it. Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni are more than just celebrities. They are figures who carry reputations built over years of dedication to their craft and their public image. Both have stood in the spotlight for different reasons, yet their paths crossed in a way that no one expected. Blake Lively has long been admired as a Hollywood star with a rare balance of beauty, grace, and down-to-earth charm. She rose to fame with her role in the hit television series Gossip Girl, where she played Serena Vanderwood. The show became a cultural phenomenon and cemented Blake as one of the defining faces of early 2000s pop culture. From there, she expanded her career into films, showing her range in thrillers, dramas, and romantic stories. What sets Blake apart in the eyes of many fans is not just her acting talent, but also her ability to remain relatable. In an industry where scandals are common, Blake managed to maintain a positive reputation. She often shares moments of humor online, especially with her husband Ryan. Together, they became one of Hollywood's most beloved couples. Their playful interactions and family-centered life made them symbols of stability in a world often filled with chaos. On the other hand, Justin Baldoni followed a different path. He became widely known through his role as Rafael Solano on the television series Jane the Virgin. His character captured audiences with charm, vulnerability, and growth. Beyond acting, Justin shifted toward directing and producing projects that explore empathy, humanity, and the challenges of modern life. His film 5 Feet Apart touched millions with its story of young love and illness. His work shows that he is not afraid to take on topics that demand sensitivity and depth. He also built a reputation outside of entertainment. He has been an advocate for rethinking masculinity, encouraging men to embrace vulnerability and honesty. His book and talks on manhood resonated with audiences who felt inspired by his perspective. He seemed to represent the modern, thoughtful voice of Hollywood, someone who could combine artistry with meaningful conversation. On the surface, both Blake and Justin carried images of positivity. Blake as a radiant actress admired for her warmth and grace, and Justin as a thoughtful creator pushing for empathy. Both respected, both celebrated, both now connected by a conflict that would place their reputations under a microscoping glass. The world watched as the first sparks of the lawsuit appeared, but no one expected how quickly it would grow and how many lives it would touch. And as headlines spread, it became clear that this was no ordinary disagreement. This was the beginning of a legal and emotional drama that would shake Hollywood to its core. Every storm begins with a single spark, and in Hollywood, even the smallest misunderstanding can grow into a fire that the whole world sees. For Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni, that spark turned into something much larger than either of them could have imagined. What started as whispers behind the scenes slowly grew into headlines, then into legal documents, and finally into a lawsuit that pulled the entire industry into its orbit. The first signs of trouble were quiet and mostly hidden from the public. It is often like this in celebrity disputes. Behind the smiles on red carpets and the carefully crafted posts on social media, there can be tension that no one sees. Rumors suggested that the conflict between Blake and Justin began over creative disagreements. Some said it was tied to a project where expectations clashed. Others hinted that it was about promises that were not kept, or decisions that left one side feeling betrayed. No matter what the exact trigger was, one truth became clear. Blake felt strongly enough to take the matter into the legal system. Filing a lawsuit is never a small choice, especially for someone like Blake, who had carefully protected her reputation over the years. She had built an image of strength and kindness. She had avoided unnecessary scandals. She often shares moments of humor online, especially with her husband Ryan. Together, they became one of Hollywood's most beloved couples. Their playful interactions and family-centered life made them symbols of stability in a world often filled with chaos. So for her to step into a courtroom against a fellow Hollywood figure meant that something very serious had happened. For Justin Baldoni, the lawsuit was equally heavy. He had built his career not just on his talent, but on his image as a man of empathy and truth. To be named in a lawsuit that challenged his actions or intentions was not only a legal matter, but also a direct threat to the reputation he had worked so hard to build. Fans who admired him for his openness and honesty were left confused and conflicted. How could the man who spoke so often about love and respect now be accused in a courtroom? The lawsuit quickly became a magnet for attention. As soon as the first report surfaced, media outlets rushed to cover the story. Headlines painted pictures of betrayal and conflict. Speculation grew about what the case really involved. Some articles focused on the business side, suggesting contracts or creative rights. Others focused on the personal side, hinting at private tensions or broken trust. Whatever the truth was, it became clear that this was more than a simple disagreement. What made the lawsuit even more explosive was the evidence and testimony that would be required. In legal battles, words matter, documents matter, witnesses matter. And this is where the story took a dramatic turn. Because among the names connected to Blake and Justin was one that no one expected to see. A name bigger than either of them. A name that guaranteed the world would pay attention. That name was Taylor Swift. When it became known that Taylor's connection to Blake could place her inside the courtroom, the story shifted from a legal dispute to a global spectacle. Taylor was not a direct part of the conflict, yet her friendship with Blake and her own presence at certain moments tied her into the narrative. In the eyes of the law, that meant her voice could be required, her perspective could matter. And in the eyes of the public, that meant the lawsuit was no longer just about Blake and Justin. It was about a triangle of fame, friendship, and legal drama that demanded attention. This revelation sent shockwaves across social media. Fans of Taylor, who call themselves Swifties, reacted with urgency. Some were outraged that she might be dragged into a battle that was not her own. Others declared that Taylor would always stand by her friend, no matter what. And of course, critics and tabloids had their own interpretations, framing the situation as Hollywood at its most dramatic. For Blake, the decision to involve witnesses like Taylor showed the seriousness of her claim. She was not afraid to bring forward the truth as she saw it, even if that meant involving close friends. For Justin, the idea of facing not only Blake, but also the possibility of testimony from one of the most famous women in the world raised the stakes to an unimaginable level. By this point, the lawsuit was no longer a private matter. It was a storm that drew in millions of eyes across the globe. And like any storm, it was unpredictable. Some believed it would settle quietly before reaching trial. Others believed it would explode into one of the most followed celebrity legal battles of the decade. One thing was certain. The beginning of the lawsuit marked the end of peace for everyone involved. Blake Lively had taken a step she could not take back. Justin Baldoni was forced to defend himself in ways that would test his reputation. And Taylor Swift, who had no desire to be in the middle of this fight, found herself walking into a courtroom drama that the entire world was ready to watch. When the news first broke that Taylor Swift was being linked to the lawsuit between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni, fans around the world were left in shock. Taylor was not listed as a co-defendant or as a co-plaintiff. She was not suing anyone, and no one was suing her. Instead, her name appeared in court documents as a potential